Hello everyone and welcome back to a Rise of Kingdom video. My name is Legend Ronnie and today I'm gonna talk about Artemisia. Is she still worth it to invest in Season of Conquest? When you reach Season of Conquest, is it quite a while since she has been released into the game? I got rank 1 in the Mightiest Governor for the Archers and I chose Artemisia. I took 180 sculptures for my Artemisia. My Artemisia was maxed, but at some point about a year ago she was resetted, just to give you the short story. And then I decided to reinvest some of the sculptures in other commanders, which was more crucial at that time. And now I'm planning to max Artemisia again. Since I use Artemisia on all of my accounts, I really like her. So that's why I talk a lot about her, because in KVK, in the murder balls, she has a lot of value and a lot of people still don't see this big value that Artemisia has. In 1682 we do fixed MGs when we are outside the KVK, and we try to give those MGs based on contribution, but the priority have players that are maxing tech, especially if it's rally commanders or garrison commanders that are really needed in KVK. It goes to those players first, and after that it goes based on contribution. I don't max tech in 1682, and now it's my turn to get for field fighting. A lot of people don't know the value of Artemisia and probably underestimate the value of Artemisia, and they keep going for Nebuchadnezzar as a pair for their YSG, because going through KVK 1, 2, 3, most of the players, they maxed YSG, and obviously they invest in Alexander and in Saladin. Those are the three best commanders that you can invest while you're in KVK 1, 2, and 3. Once you reach Season of Conquest, a lot of people are looking for cheap investments so they can have some solid Season of Conquest pairs. And many players go for Nebuchadnezzar, which I did as well. I have Nebuchadnezzar as well. I done it, not that I really needed it, but I done it in a KVK 3. Back in the days, you were able to still use some of the Season of Conquest, or the kingdoms were reaching Season of Conquest before KVK 3 was ending. It was a little bit of a mess. Players that didn't catch that, they don't know. But you were able to use this Season of Conquest commanders in KVK 3. So I had to max Nebuchadnezzar because we couldn't kill Zenobias. People were having Zenobia garrisons and nobody in the kingdom had commanders to take her down. So I had to max Nebu, and Nebu and YSG, not the best trades, but it worked. Something that worked. I'm planning to maxing her out again because personally I like her too much. Like I said, I'm using her on all my accounts. Artemisia with YSG. I believe that right now at this moment in the game, for KVK, murder balls, field fighting in KVK, it is the best way how you can still use your YSG. Every time I go out with Nebu and YSG, it just melts. It literally melts. And I do the same to other players that are using Nebu and YSG. If I see Nebu and YSG, I go straight for him. The same thing that happens with Xiangyu and William. But Artemisia, on the other hand, it is not a primary target. Nobody goes straight for an Artemisia. Everybody knows she has the defense talent tree, she has a lot of defense and health, and it's not worth it to try to kill an Artemisia when there is much more softer targets out there. And Artemisia can keep going on and on and on. Now, a lot of players are not happy about Artemisia because of her self-silence, and saying that if you put Artemisia with YSG, it is a waste, because it may happen that she goes at max rage and then YSG skill gonna pop that gives you 100 rage, the second skill from YSG, and that is a waste rage. These things are purely RNG, random number generated. My Artemisia has almost 20 million kills, and this account, it is a 3 billion kill points account. Going to YSG, he has almost 40 million kills. Is was one of my first legendaries that I maxed on this account. Pretty badass commander. Pairing him with Nebuchadnezzar, because I was talking about, there's nothing wrong about it. Nebu and YSG is a super solid pair. Same is Ramses and YSG is a super solid pair. A lot of people ask me which is the best. People want to know which is the best. That there is really hard for anybody to tell you which is the best between Ramses, Nebu, or Artemisia to put primary and secondary a YSG. because all three marchers, all three pairs are super solid option for them. But in my opinion, for what I care about my commanders, about investing in my commanders, KVK and field fighting priority, I would say that Artemisia, it is a much better option for your YSG. Now, because I have Nebu and Ramses, you're probably wondering how I'm pairing them. I do Ramses first and I do Nebu second. 4 KVK is a super solid march. Nebu and YSG, in my opinion, is a Sunset Canyon must-have march if you want to get top ranks. There is other ways to get top ranks, but it requires too many legendaries, and it's a complicated process, which I don't want to detail it in this video. I don't want to sidetrack that much. But for general purpose in Sunset Canyon, Nebu and YSG is a beast. For field fighting, I would say that you need Artemisia and YSG. Ramses and YSG is amazing as well for the field. But the same way Cyrus with Ramses is amazing. The same way Ramses with Nebu is amazing. The same way Gilgamesh with Ramses is amazing. The same way you name it. So Ramses is amazing when you think about it, because every march that I was just mentioning earlier, they all had Ramses in it. Now you probably saw 1v using a lot of Cyruses in Ark of Osiris, and you're probably saying, hey, you don't disrespect Cyrus, yo. 1v just won their first game in the grand finals using a lot of Cyruses in the middle. Well, that's true. When it comes to an Ark perspective, Cyrus for the middle fight, it is an amazing march. Same is Leonidas second to Guan Yu. Very fast skill rotation, because Leonidas just gives more rage to Guan Yu, and then it's just a continuous AoE, AoE, AoE. Same is probably for various other commanders, but I don't want to sidetrack a lot on this video about it. So Cyrus for Ark of Osiris, it is a beast of a commander. Cyrus and Nebu, particularly that pair, highly recommended. But it is for Ark of Osiris. People are using Cyrus in KVK as well, so I don't say that it is wrong to use him. It is really good there as well. But it is about where does Cyrus excels. And Cyrus excels in Ark of Osiris or Cyrus League because of his mobility, his capabilities of AoE. I think he is the only commander in the game that has, if I'm correct, 2 passive AoEs. I believe is this one, additional damage factor, and I believe is the 4th one as well. It is a while since I read his skills. And then he has his primary with 1400 and also increased additional damage taken by the target. And then with his expertise, it has a nice range recovery with some attack and defense. So very, very nice composition, Cyrus and Nebu for Osiris League, Ark of Osiris, or at least for that matter. For KVK, my recommendation is that you need something a little bit more defensive. And YSG right now, I'm very surprised. I'm still surprised about that. He got 10% defense with the new museum update. So YSG, that's why he's still being used. Plus he's too unique with his AoE capabilities, hitting 5 targets. And you put him behind some commanders that is very tanky, like Artemisia, even Nebu if you're lucky enough and nobody targets you, or Ramses, and you get really good trades and really good value out of it. When you are in KVK, the most important part on the field fighting, it is the murder ball. You are probably thinking about the damage that you do when you're trying to swarm a target or when you're trying to get kills for yourself. You get kills. You get kills in KVK. That should never be your concern about getting kills. Your concern and your number one priority is winning the KVK. And the only way you can win the KVK is by winning the murder balls. The more AoE you bring in the murder balls, the better. And this comes a particular subject that I want to bring out in this video, because you probably saw even on my main account at some point I was going out with 3 Archer marchers. And you're probably thinking something is wrong over there. Ronnie is betraying the calves. It's not about betraying the calves. It's because calves don't have too much AoE. And that's a big issue. So let's say you do Sardin and William like I was doing back at that time, and then I was doing Xiang Yu and Chandragupta. So at least 2 marchers of those calves have AoE. Then I was doing Trajan and Aethelflaed. Aethelflaed has AoE. Guan and Alex. Guan has AoE. Then I was doing Artemisia, YSG, Gilgamesh and Nebu. Gilgamesh when it came out, and Ramses with Tomiris. Ramses with Tomiris is single target, but its purpose is very visible. Ramses and Tomiris, they are doing great debuffs on the target. So there you go, a lot of AoE. And I can tell you that I never lost a one-on-one fight. When the Crystal Tech was equal, or even before Crystal Tech, one-on-one fight I never lost. Because you're probably saying, oh my god, you're a god on the battlefield, or what? Everybody runs away from you. The thing is, the amount of AoE that I have. So for example, let's say they go for my Ramses, and they just melt him down, right? And then they start switching on the other target. Well, probably I'm not melting down his primary target as fast as he is melting my primary target. But he's switching to my second march. Now, by the time I'm switching to his second march, I've done so much AoE value that he's gonna struggle to take down my second march. Let's say he's gonna take down my second march as well. But the third march that he's gonna pick on, he's gonna struggle and he's probably gonna lose because the amount of AoE value that I do. And that happens every single time. And people don't understand why so much AoE, why I like so much AoE, so much buffs, so much debuffs. That is the reason. Because in the end, that's how you win the murder ball. Is it Artemisia worth it to still invest on? 100%. 100% until the next two archers are being released. I highly recommend still investing in Artemisia. Like I said, 5511, solid investment. But obviously my recommendation is expertise. Even though, as you look at my Nevsky, as badass as Nevsky is, he doesn't have AoE. I definitely want him in my army because everybody does. He's a freak of nature with this damage that he does, and then especially when you're swarming targets, it's 15% times 3, that's 45% defense decrease when he's doing his primary. I mean, it's too good to not use Nevsky. Damage plus debuff as well. So Nevsky is a solid option to have for your marchers. But right now I'm kind of putting him on hold because Scipio came out. And Scipio does AoE, and like I said, I value AoE more than single target because that's exactly what is helping me on the field. And the new Scipio, which right now is not yet on the list, we will have him after the update. He will be visible on the list and you will see his skills clearly, or you can check some of the video. I'll make sure to post a card on the top. Scipio is gonna be a really must-have commander for your murder ball. Now Nevsky, it is a nice addition, but to be very honest, not something that you must have. It is kind of an individual march, exactly like when Attila Takeda came in. As good as they were still an individual march. Now same is with Nevsky, but it does kill targets very fast and causes a lot of severely wounded. So again, a must-have as well commander. It feels like all commanders are soon starting to be replaced, but all in all, since we are talking about Artemisia, is definitely still worth it. In the worst case scenario, you can do a monitor as well, and you have one of the greatest archers garrison. Even that Nevsky is pounding that garrison, you can use that march for the field. It is a very solid option for archers. If you want to drop specifically, if you want to drop YSG, if you feel like YSG is losing value, right now I believe that YSG still has a value because of that 10% defense that he gained behind Artemisia, or probably behind Ramses as well. But in the future, my plan is to also get a monitor on this account. But now is all about Nevsky and this new Scipio. So I'm kind of holding everything. And to give you another advice on this video, what I do, instead of just going ahead and maxing commanders, just upgrading commanders and all this, I wait until the password is opening, until you can enter zone 5 in KVK, Heroic, Anthem or Strife of the 8. When that happens, you have a day ahead and you have plenty of time, if you save sculptures, if you saved everything, to start upgrading commanders. Because my plan is, if I manage to reach enough sculptures, my plan is to max skill Artemisia and try to do Nevsky 5551 and do Scipio 5551 as well. And that way I'm kind of having best of both worlds or best of three worlds. Maxing out commanders, having two very useful commanders, and empowering my murder ball with more AoE value. And now I can also go for a few upgrades. I already pressed one by accident and it went on the 4th skill. Now I hope it's not gonna, it didn't went on the, it went on the second one. It went on the 3rd one, not second one. And it went on that one. Right, so it's still good. 5533. If I would use a couple of resets, I got 9. I could probably go for a 5515 Artemisia, but I'm gonna max her in the end, so it's kind of pointless to spend those reset options right now for Artemisia. Number 1 rule of Rock: don't rush. And another advice I can give you is work on the VIP. If you really like field fighting, if you're really interested in progressing into the game, work on the VIP. This is a low spender account, a really low spender account. You might not believe it, that's entirely up to you. I was VIP 15 when I started upgrading this account, like really working on this account. That's why I had Artemisia max, because it was supposed to be a garrison account. Artemisia and Wu was the first garrison pair that I had. And I was VIP 15 because obviously being in well alliances, I was the king as well, so he was my second account. I was whenever I had to leave the main alliance, I was just passing the king to this account and so on. And now I'm 1,175,000 away from VIP 18. You're probably thinking that, hey, that's a long ass road. That's gonna take a long time to reach VIP 18. That's very true, but it's way less. If you're not investing in VIP, then you can always look at it and you're gonna say, whoa, that's gonna take a long time. If you're not progressing, if you're not investing in VIP, then you can never get closer to VIP 18. So when it's more than gems, I always invest some gems, depending on how many gems I have, and I put something in the VIP. So I hope this definitely helps you out about commanders and deciding about Artemisia, and a little bit of sidetracking here and there about all the other stuff. But I just want to express my words about Artemisia, that until the next archers are being released, I still highly recommend Artemisia. I think she will always be an asset in your arsenal if you're planning to do an archer march. Until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends. And today, I'm gonna go through and today, I'm gonna... Oh, boy.